It's so beautiful.
Emotions. Everybody has them, everybody knows them, and occasionally we experience those emotions while playing video games. Whether it's a cozy sit-down session with Animal Crossing, or a computer mouse throwing Rampage with Getting Over It, Bennett Foddy still hasn't made it back on my Christmas card list. Emotions play an important part in our day-to-day lives. If I'm honest, I've been thinking about it a lot lately, especially regarding how we feel when we play video games. Would you like to know the reason I'm on this brain train to begin with? Out of all things, the Game Awards of 2024 got me thinking about it. Wait, don't click away, hear me out! A lot of stuff that got announced for the awards was well and good, but one of the most memorable announcements was so emotional that even Jeff Keighley himself welled up trying to hype it up.
If you truly love video games like I do, this moment is for all of us.
Giant drums, an orchestra plays, and we cut to the Okami sequel being announced. And yeah, it was probably the biggest moment the award show had that night. I know I was really excited about it, and the thing is, a lot of others were too. Like, really, really excited about it.
Okami! Oh my gosh, it's back!
Okami! 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 Oh my god, I love Okami!
Oh my god, it's Okami. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Capcom, how do you do it?
No! What? What the?
Holy shit! Oh my god! Okami! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! No way! Ah!
It warmed my heart, but also, it made me wonder, why do we get emotional about video games like this? I imagine Okami is a great game, and while I still haven't played much of it, this isn't the first time I've seen people get emotional for games or even trailers for games. I mean, I got emotional about Sora in Smash. How does a series of zeros and ones have the power to make us laugh, cry, or feel nostalgic? Let's find out. Disclaimer here, I'm not a professional doctor that's versed on the human psyche here. I'm just a guy who likes making videos about video games. These are my thoughts on the matter, nothing more. So with that, let's talk about how sad you are. Well, how about we start this with talking about one of the first emotional scenes I've seen in a video game. And that scene was a game from Mother 3. A game that isn't even out in the States. Mother 3 is the sequel to Mother 2, also known as Earthbound in the States. I was just learning about this game and thought to myself, the sequel to Earthbound is sad? The game with fuzzy pickles, Mr. Saturns eating burgers from the garbage can, and fighting new age retro hippies. How is the sequel to that in any way heartbreaking? Oh my god. I'll put a spoiler warning for people who want to play the fan translation themselves, but skip to this timestamp if needed. You play as Lucas in the prologue of the game, meet his twin brother Klaus and his mother Hanawa, who are just about to get ready to leave to head back to their village. Shortly after, you play as Flint, who after dealing with a forest fire, realizes that his wife and kids haven't returned, and it's now night. The kids are eventually found in a river alive, but still no sign of Hanawa. And it wasn't until another villager tells Flint about a fang he found that we learn of Hanawa's fate. Without even a word of dialogue from him, you can tell Flint is heartbroken and distraught. He's non-responsive, he takes lumber from the fire, lashing it out on anything and anyone he can, and it takes multiple villagers to take him down. After that, we see Flint's memory of Hanawa the last time he saw her. Damn, this was unlike anything I've ever seen in a game before, especially a simple Game Boy Advance Nintendo game. This moment alone made me realize games could be more than just fun experiences. These were storytelling mediums that could make anyone who watches or plays feel something. And I felt horrible for Flint. It especially gets worse for him as we see him and Lucas at the funeral for his mom. I remember that got me choked up the first time I saw this. At the time, I couldn't even imagine what he was going through. A lot of games have been very emotional as of late, with sprawling epic storylines, especially from the RPG category. A big one for me is the Xenoblade series. It delves into these huge themes involving destiny, religion, and gods, and it can be extremely heavy. I remember getting hooked with the first game, and falling in love with all the twists and turns. The characters' struggles were relatable, and I felt a lot of empathy from their situation, and having them travel on their journey. I could go on and on about Xenoblade and the details. In fact, I have, so check out this video after this. The music, the voice acting, and just how good the story is and its twists and turns can often hit you in the feels. Especially the third one. My god, the third one made me cry more times than I can count. You know the scene I'm talking about. If you've played it, you know. And you're crying along with me. Xenoblade has a ton going for it, but it's not the only game that's had this effect. Life is Strange, The Last of Us, more on that one later, countless indie games, hell, even Genshin Impact. Yes, Genshin Impact. The gacha game with the cute girls did have an event and a cutscene in it that made one tear come out of my eye. Don't worry, Wu Tao, we're getting you out of there. It's the same way a good novel or movie can get you interested. Only I want to argue that this is more effective because you are the one playing. You're the main character, the one actively progressing the story. Compare this to other more passive art forms, it's almost no contest. Sure, in some games you're just watching a cutscene, but other games have you actually doing the action that contributes to the scene and that hits on a different level. For example, in Life is Strange, you have choices you make and consequences that follow these actions. These choices can put you in a state where you're not sure if you made the right choice or not, and that can really weigh on you. How about games where you're forced to do an action you don't want to do? You know you have to, the game says you have to, but you almost can't. This can scar players for life. I can think of a few games where this boundary was pushed for sure. You don't need to have fancy graphics or cutscenes to be emotional either. One of the earliest games to have an emotional impact for me was Final Fantasy VI, or 3 in the States. There were a bunch of characters going through heavy stuff, from self-identity issues to guilt, to losing their entire family and kingdom. Hell, the entire world got destroyed. This 16-bit title was pretty dark, but it's one of my favorite games because these 16-bit sprites do a great job of showing these complex emotions. Undertale, a game cloaked in a veil of comedic adventure, has absolutely gut-punching moments that hit me really hard. Hell, To the Moon, a game originally made in RPG Maker, is one of the most emotionally impacting storylines I have ever played. One that pulls the rug under you, only to use that rug to wipe away all of your tears. It's one of my favorites, and they remade it completely for the Switch back in 2020. Go play it. Not everything that makes us cry has to be sad, however. Some of us cry for happy reasons, or powerful bouts of nostalgia. One of the most memorable moments with my girlfriend in the beginning of our relationship was her sitting down and telling me about how much she loves The Last of Us, how she was going through a rough time in her life, and how she found a Let's Play and wanted nothing more than to play it. She got it for Christmas and then got stuck pretty early. But afterward, she played the game non-stop, fell in love with the story, and it's become her favorite game. It was this title that got her into gaming in general, opening the pathway for her to try more games, like Resident Evil, Fatal Frame, Until Dawn, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and more. Obviously, The Last of Us is already a hell of a story. I've only played the very beginning as of writing this script and pure sadness in 4K. But the fact that this was one of her first gaming memories, and one that paralleled a lot of her past experiences, made it even more special to her. I imagine we all have similar games like that. Spyro was one of the first series I ever played. I especially love the second game. So not only does the original bring back memories, but playing the trilogy reminded me of the good times from my childhood. Whenever I hear the Traverse Town theme of Kingdom Hearts, it just hits me like a wave, remembering all those hours spent alone in this town. Or how about the original Animal Crossing, where I spent hours upon hours hanging out with my virtual friends. Heck, even the memories of drinking brews with my friends at the Roost in New Horizons. I know that it's only been a few years, so it's almost weird to call that nostalgic, but that still brings up some memories. A lot of these moments in video games might bring up a core memory from the past, or remind us of someone we knew from a long time ago. These are experiences that remind us of simpler times expressed through an entertaining medium. It's truly magical when a moment like that happens in a game, and you almost see a reflection of what you're going through. In fact, it can relate to you so much that it almost helps you process your own struggles. Before I go into it, this is going to be a bit more of a rough topic and a personal experience. Don't feel bad if it's too much for you or if you don't want to watch the rest of the video. I get it. Other than that, here's a little story. Sometimes we play games to feel emotions. Sometimes we do it to remind ourselves of better times. Of course, most of us play them just to have fun. Sometimes, though, we play to cope. Last year, around April, I lost my mom to cancer. She was diagnosed in January, and it got worse and worse until she was gone. I felt numb. I just remember sitting in my room, feeling lost, and not being able to do anything. I wanted to feel something, but I just couldn't process anything at the moment. I didn't know what I felt, but whatever it wasn't good. After a lot of time spent alone, I just remember looking desperately just to find something to play. Maybe just anything to try to get my mind off of things. And eventually, I found Spiritfarer on my Switch. Spiritfarer is a cozy game about death, where you play as a boat rider of the dead, guiding animal representations of souls, getting them ready to depart. You make them comfortable by doing them favors and giving them living accommodations until they're ready to face their reality. Once that happens, you take them to the Everdoor, where they pass on. It's a cozy game where you collect resources, build your ship, fish, and give souls a great big hug. But this can be a punch in the gut at points. The bond you create with these digital avatars was real for me. I learned about their lives and how they connected to the main character, and it really can hurt to see them go one by one, especially when getting to know them. One character in particular, Alice, was an older hedgehog woman, one of the sweeter characters in the game. But as you did requests for her, she got more and more forgetful. It also was harder and harder for her to move. Eventually, it gets really hard for her to move around at all. It got to the point in-game where we had to carry her around multiple times, even when taking her on a boat to the Everdoor. Seeing her gradual deterioration and her eventual departure really hurt. But something about it helped more than I realized. I remember after days of numbness, hearing the music of characters going through the Everdoor, especially when it happened to Alice, it helped me finally process my emotions. It helped me get out of the dark place I was in. It really helped me out when I needed it the most. Same goes for games like Persona 3 Reload. I know it's coming out of nowhere, and this game deserves a video all of its own. But funny enough, playing a game about death the same year you lose someone dear to you, it's going to hit you hard. Without spoiling much, playing this game was able to help me cope with the loss as well, with its storytelling, the characters, and their arcs. It deals with the grieving process and the idea of death and dying. And even though it wasn't a game I planned to get into, by the time I finished, I was floored and bawling my eyes out. It's amazing how playing these games can help you out like this. How even if you're going through a rough time or experiencing the loss of a loved one, depression, anxiety, guilt, loneliness, gaming can help you with your emotions and make them easier to deal with. Sure, you may have some tears in your eyes, but that's okay. There's no shame in crying. Sometimes, video games allow us to let down our guard and break through the barrier we've built. And that's okay. This is why we get emotional over video games. We see ourselves in them. Games have the power to transport us to these moments, and that is a magical thing. It's no wonder games like Okami have stuck with people over the years. A good game can make you laugh, cry, or quietly smile for the first time in weeks, alone in your room, escaping from the trials and tribulations that the world has to offer. It's the reason we are attached to some of these franchises, and why even a gaming trailer is enough to get the waterworks going. When all those streamers saw Amaterasu running in the field, they saw themselves replaying the game. All those memories flooding back, the struggles, great storytelling, and fun gameplay. That's the kind of game I want to play and talk about with friends. The game that can give me that good cry I need from time to time. A game I can turn on and know it's okay to be emotional. Video games that remind me that I'm human when I need them the most. Well, that was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, wasn't it? But what games made you emotional, whether it be sad, happy, or getting over it with Benefati? Let me know in the comments below. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my soaps. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and check out my other videos too. Special thanks to all the people who helped me out with the video. I couldn't have done it without all of you. Also, an extra special thanks to my Patreon patrons, including Mantelferox and Savacom. If you'd like to join the Patreon, the link is in the description below, along with my Twitch, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good night.